Vienna, May 7, 1824. Late evening. The city has already begun to quiet down. But around the Karntnertor Theater, time seems to slow instead of moving forward. The stone pavement in front of the building is still damp from the rain that fell steadily throughout the day. The reflections of gas lamps shimmer on the wet ground, stretching and bending as carriage wheels roll across the stones. Horses snort softly. Drivers pull on reins with patience rather than urgency. Tonight, no one is in a hurry, because everyone gathered here understands something unspoken. This night is not ordinary. This is not just another performance. This is the night a man who vanished from public life years ago will try, one last time, to remind the world that he still exists. Beethoven's name is printed in large, confident letters on posters throughout the city. It promises greatness. But backstage, that same name is spoken carefully, almost nervously. Those who know him well understand why. He is irritable, stubborn, uncompromising, a man who refuses to bend, even when the world demands it, and above all, he is completely deaf. There are stories whispered among musicians and patrons alike, stories of rehearsals filled with tension, of Beethoven shouting instructions no one could fully follow, of arguments with the orchestra, of moments where he interfered with the conductor, insisting on changes that others struggled to understand. Some still believe he is a towering genius. Others quietly suspect that his time has passed, that tonight will expose him as a relic of another era. And everyone knows, this evening will decide which version of Beethoven survives. As the theater fills, the air grows thick and heavy. Coats brush against one another. Seats creak under shifting weight. People sit, adjust themselves, then glance around, searching the faces of strangers for reassurance. Many wear the same expression, curiosity tangled with anxiety. No one truly knows what they are about to hear. The Ninth Symphony exists only as rumor, passed from mouth to mouth, exaggerated with each telling. It's too long, some claim, too complex. There are human voices, others whisper, disbelief clear in their tone. Some believe it will change music forever. Others fear it will mark the final painful misstep of a once great composer. Backstage, Beethoven sits alone on a simple chair, his hands resting heavily on his knees. His fingers tremble slightly. Not from age, and not from weakness, but from tension held too long inside the body. From the outside he appears calm, almost distant, but inside his mind, the music never stops. It flows endlessly, relentlessly. He has played this symphony hundreds, perhaps thousands of times in his head. Every note, every silence, every violent clash and gentle ascent is carved into his memory with brutal clarity. He cannot hear it, but he knows it. He knows it more intimately than anyone else ever could, because this music was not written for the ears first. It was written inside him, inside silence. Someone nearby is speaking, explaining the order of the program, commenting on the audience, offering reassurance. Beethoven nods occasionally, out of habit, but not a single word reaches him. For years now, conversation has meant watching mouths move, studying faces, guessing meanings, constant guessing, constant uncertainty, constantly living with absence. And tonight, that absence will stand fully exposed in front of hundreds of people. Before stepping onto the stage, Beethoven stops. He stands facing the door. He places his hand flat against the wooden surface. It feels cold, solid, real, a physical certainty in a world that has grown abstract and distant. He hesitates, just for a moment, because behind this door lies either history or a quiet, humiliating farewell. No one urges him forward. No one dares rush him. Everyone understands, if Beethoven turns back now, no force alive could persuade him otherwise. The door opens. Light floods in. The stage. Rows of faces. Hundreds of eyes fixed in anticipation. Beethoven walks forward with heavy, deliberate steps. At first, the audience whispers softly, then falls into complete silence, because this is not the image they expected. They imagined someone imposing, upright, commanding, a figure untouched by time. Instead, The man before them looks worn. His shoulders are slightly slumped, his movements stiff, his hair untamed, but his eyes still burn with something unmistakable. That familiar hardness, that refusal to surrender to fate, to age, to silence itself. The orchestra settles into place. Instruments are adjusted, bows lifted. The conductor prepares. Beethoven stands at the front, but the control is no longer truly his, and this does not disturb him. He surrendered control years ago, in a world he cannot hear. Control is only an illusion. When the first notes break the silence, tension ripples through the hall. The sound is sharp, unfamiliar, almost confrontational. Some listeners lean forward, drawn in despite themselves. Others lean back, uneasy. Beethoven remains completely still, like a statue carved from stone, because for him, this moment is not new. He has lived it countless times already, alone, in darkness, in silence. In the second movement, the rhythm shifts unexpectedly. It pushes. It demands attention. People glance at one another, silently asking, "Where is this going?" This music does not soothe. It does not reassure. It challenges. It unsettles. And that is exactly what Beethoven intends. Because his life has never been comfortable, not once. Why should his music be? By the third movement, something changes. The hall softens. The melodies stretch inward, gentle, reflective, almost intimate. Breath slow. Some eyes glisten with tears. Beethoven still does not turn toward the audience. He cannot hear their reactions. He only senses the passing of time, the invisible movement toward something inevitable. And then the most dangerous moment arrives. The choir stands. A murmur runs through the audience. Human voices. This is the breaking point of the symphony. Something no one has dared attempt on this scale. Shock mixes with excitement. Skepticism with hope. Beethoven's back remains turned. He has lived this moment 1,000 times in his mind. But imagination is forgiving. Reality is not. Freud. The first word rises into the hall. Time seems to freeze. This is a gamble without safety net. Either history will be written here, or Beethoven will fall completely. If this fails, everything collapses. The tension becomes almost unbearable. As the voices grow stronger, so does the audience's collective heartbeat. Beethoven's internal music does not falter. It surges forward, unstoppable. And then, the finale. The final notes fade. Silence. For Beethoven, silence is familiar. It is home. But for the hall, it is terrifying. Seconds stretch unnaturally long. No one moves. No one breathes. Beethoven stands motionless. In his world, the music is still playing. The final note has not yet ended. Then the applause explodes. Sudden. Violent. Overwhelming. The audience rises as one. Hands clap until they ache. Shouts fill the air. Some weep openly. Beethoven hears none of it, but he feels it. Something has shifted. The air itself has changed. The soloist approaches him gently, takes his arm, and slowly turns him toward the crowd. What Beethoven sees stops him cold. An entire audience standing, cheering, applauding. It is a victory, but a silent one. The greatest triumph of his life arrives without sound. His face freezes between disbelief and emotion, between a smile and tears. He gave everything for this moment. His health, his relationships, his peace, his hearing. And now, he receives his reward without hearing its voice. That night, Beethoven entered history forever.